screen, and look at the move. He's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Formula One time. It is awesome, guys. We're back at the wonderful, beautiful Imola San Marino track. There's like 3 different names for it. It's but it's a fantastic Italian Grand Prix, guys. Many of you may remember it was actually cancelled last year. There was huge floods down in that area, massive floods. A lot of people unfortunately died, and it was horrendous. So it was a shame, obviously, for the people that live there. Of course, that's number one. Jeez. And it was obviously a shame that the boys couldn't go racing there last year, but it was definitely a good reason not to. And hey, it's good to see that we're back here in Italy. It's great. So it's a fantastic track, guys. So we're going to go through the championship points before we get going. We'll see where the drivers are standing in the top 10. Then we'll go into the news, the updated news before the event itself. A couple of interesting articles here that have come out, guys, which we're going to get right into now in a few moments. Then we'll look at the track. We'll take a little bit look at the onboard footage as well. The most important corner on the track as well. That's crucial. Turn 7 is the key. And we'll look at predictions and the weather, because the weather will really play a big part of this weekend if it starts to rain. Now, this track, a lot of people wouldn't think that Italy would be the type of place that it's going to have rain. But for some reason, this place does get rain. And a lot of years it's going to rain. So we have a good chance, and I've seen the weather, and we're going to go through that at the end here, that there's chances of rain coming here. So even if the first part of the Grand Prix is dry, we could have some rain, which could really interrupt and affect the layout and the flow of the race, which is obviously great for us. So guys, let's get into it. So looking at the championship right now, so here we are, the drivers' standings. So in first, no surprise for the moment, we have Maxi Boy on 136. We've got in second Sergio in the Red Bull at 103. In third, we've got Charles in the Ferrari at 98. Fourth position, we've got Lando in the McLaren with 83. Fifth, we've got Carlos in the Ferrari on 83. So they're both tied at the moment. Sixth position, we've got Oscar in the McLaren on 41. In seventh, we've got George in the Mercedes on 37. Eighth, we've got Fernando in the Aston Martin on 33. Ninth, Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes on 27. And 10th is Yuki in the RB Honda on 14. So look, guys, it still is early in this year to call it which way it's going to go. I mean, we've seen already Max Verstappen had a DNF this year. It did not finish. So you never know what can happen. And even if his car is reliable as we think it is, it's an incredibly reliable car, you can still have an off. You can still have an off. You know? And he's looking good, let's be honest. He's looking damn good here at the moment for now. But this is Formula One, guys. You never ever know what can happen. So that's the championship right now. So guys, we're going to take a look at the news here. So quite a bit to talk about with the news. And let's have a look. So first of all, where will we start with? I think we'll start with the Albon news. So Albon has signed another deal with Williams to go on for a multi-year contract extension with Williams, and he's going to be up there until the 2026 season minimum. And look, as we all know, I think it's no surprise here really that Albon is the number one driver in that team. There's no questions about it, and we've seen that. The evidence, what I say, the cold hard evidence here is what happened when Albon had a crash and James Vowell, the team boss, decided to boot out Logan Sargent out of his car and give it to Albon for that weekend. I know I've spoken about it quite a bit. It was a shocking thing to happen to any driver, whether you're in karting, Formula Ford, Formula 3, 2 or Formula 1. Doesn't matter a damn, guys. It was horrendous. It should have never have happened. It just crushes team spirit. But it kind of gives you an idea of where Vowles is the team boss. He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care. Now, I'm not saying he's an evil man. Absolutely not. I had huge admiration for this guy before this incident. But that really disappointed me in this guy. Because team spirit is very important, guys. You're spending a lot of time with each other, not just at the track. You're spending a lot of time with each other at corporate events, sponsorship events. You're spending a lot of time with each other at the hotel. And this does affect a team. So even right now, only a few races after what has happened here with poor old Logan Sargent, my heart bleeds for this guy. Signing a contract with Albon already is just another kick in the balls for Logan Sargent. Like, they could have signed the deal, kept everything hush-hush and quiet, and just moved on down the road, and let's just try and patch things up with everybody in the team, because they didn't get any result out of their stupid fucking move here, guys. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say it out loud. It was a stupid fucking move. It didn't pay off. Now, if they did get a result and Albon finished in the points, who cares? He could have finished maybe 10th, 9th. So for what, 1 point, 2 point? Crush the whole team spirit? If it was for a race win and he turned around and won the race, okay, now everybody would be saying the guy's a goddamn genius, okay? Alright? A goddamn genius. But it didn't work out. He didn't finish in the points. He didn't score any points. And that's end of discussion, end of story. It was horrendous, but look, at the same time, Albon seems to be a nice guy, so I'm not saying anything bad about him here at all. I blame the team boss, because it did come down to the team boss at the end of the day, guys. This wasn't Albon saying, hey, come on, Vowles, give me the car. Right? If Vowles didn't want him to have the car, he would have went, excuse me? Here, take a run and jump off along a short pier there, fella, will you? Get out of my sight. And Albon wouldn't have even have asked the question, simply because you wouldn't ask the question. It just wouldn't happen. Never would happen. So, yeah. Anyway, look, for Albon now, it's good for him. So, look, well done to Albon. I'll say that at least. Okay, the next bit of news. Yuki Tsunoda at the second Red Bull team. Now, he's feeling a bit nervous here because he's not sure of his future. Now, Honda are with the team. Honda have signed a deal with Yuki Tsunoda when he was a young kid. And it was a partnership because they wanted a Honda engine with an Asian driver working together side by side in the same team, and they've held on to him all the way up through the ranks. So he's had it easy enough. Let's admit this, okay? He's had this very easy, Yuki Tsunoda. And you can even see this, guys, in Drive to Survive. We haven't got there yet. As many of you know, I'm covering, from a driver's point of view, a breakdown of each episode of Drive to Survive, showing what it's like for a racing driver in certain scenarios. And we haven't got to this episode yet, where Yuki Tsunoda shows his real laziness. And I'm gonna come straight out with it. This guy does not deserve to be in Formula 1. Because you'll see this in the Drive to Survive episode. Personal trainers trying to get him to go, let's go training. Yuki Tsunoda is on the camera on Netflix, just so I don't give a shit about training. This is for his own health and safety as well here, And he's getting paid to actually train, physically train on his body to keep fit. And yet he's just walking around the place moping. When I saw that, guys, on screen, I was stunned by it. But I know why he's doing that. Because he knows that he's at Red Bull, and this is the fact. He's only at the Red Bull second team, guys, at the moment. because he's the guy with the partnership with Honda. Now, who has Red Bull? What engines do they have? Honda engines. If Yuki Tsunoda was gone, Honda would probably be gone. Now, maybe they might work a deal, but that was definitely 100% no question. If Red Bull were going to get Honda engines, Yuki Tsunoda had to be part of the deal. Okay? It was a package deal. I'm telling you now. This happens in all walks of motorsport, karting, all the way up to Formula 1. It's a package deal that's happening here. And that's why Yuki Tsunoda fucking knows it all too well, that he's there and he's got power. He's got power. Now, for Christian Horner, because he's the real boss of Red Bull, let's be totally frank and honest, right, of both teams, okay? You can't fault Christian Horner either. He needed a good, solid engine. Honda is obviously a good, solid engine. And if it's part of the deal, okay, well, listen, guys, let's put him in the second team and he can just stay there. Right? So there's probably a bit of negotiation to do with that. Of course there would have been. But look, you can't blame him. Now, you can't blame Yuki Tsunoda either. I mean, Jesus, what racing driver wouldn't jump at that chance? You're goddamn right I would have if there was an Irish manufacturer of engines and then they wanted to do a package deal with me. You're goddamn right. Like any other person in the world would have done the same thing. It's just Yuki Tsunoda's attitude, you know? You don't go around bitching and moaning on the camera that you want to go training, right? And like, oh, I couldn't give a damn. Okay, attitude. He's getting paid. He's getting paid by the goddamn team. Show some fucking standards, man. Show some fucking work ethic, you know? Even if you don't want to go, you still pretend to the team that you care. You know what I mean? So, here's the point. Honda engines are going to be going to Aston Martin in 2026. So, where does that leave the drivers in Aston Martin? Well, we've got Fernando Alonso up until 2026. So again, it'll be interesting to see. Then we've got Lance Stroll, which is obviously Mr. Stroll, the team boss of Aston Martin. Obviously, he's the boss and part owner. He's going to have to be in a scenario where he's going to choose his son or Fernando Alonso or Yuki Tsunoda. Now, can you see him parting ways with Fernando Alonso? Jesus. I mean, you'd want to be nuts. You'd want to be nuts. Wouldn't you? Jesus. You'd want to be nuts. Now, then again, what is in the contract here? That's what we need to find out. And obviously we'll find out eventually. But now, okay, let's say you get rid of Alonso. Well, now you're left with Lance Stroll, the son. Right, well, I rate Lance Stroll, I have to admit. I really do. He's having a nightmare year, and yet some people could argue, well, hey, hang on a second now, Peter. If he's that good, well, why wouldn't his dad give him a great car? I have no answer for that. I'm stumped on that one. I've got to say. Stumped. Because it doesn't make sense. And why he's so far off the pace. Unless Alonso's bringing sponsorship to the team, perhaps. Something that we don't know. And personally, I could see Aston Martin in 2026 with Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda in the team. And Alonso's going to have to be, well, forced to retire. And look, he's in his mid-40s anyway, so he'll probably be glad to leave anyway. Or he'll be happy enough to leave. We'll have to see. But he's not feeling it. He's not. Yuki Tsunoda is a bit nervous. And, well, I guess I wouldn't blame him. You know, and he's probably nervous because he knows he doesn't give a shit. And he knows that everybody else knows that too. You know? So, anyway, we will see, guys. We will see. It'll be interesting to see what unfolds as we go along. Okay, moving on down the road here. Next. So, we haven't got huge amount of technical input here, guys, because well, when I look at it anyway, because they have a Tech Weekly, and Ferrari have brought some new upgrades to this weekend, which is very exciting. Obviously, maybe it'll be like McLaren, where they made that one upgrade and boom, it made all the difference. Fingers crossed for Ferrari, it will. It's a bit double Dutch, I have to say. Even I'm finding it hard to understand what they're saying here. Not that I don't know, it's just I don't think that these guys know exactly what's going on with the upgrade. All right, it doesn't add up what they're saying. But what I can make of this article here and what they're saying about the upgrade is that the Ferrari engine is very, very good in a straight line, and they're struggling with downforce, grip. So the thing is, what they're now doing, and what they have done, is they've changed around the side pods and they've made them lower. So what they're trying to do is have more resistance in a way with the wind. In other words, the wind is traveling across the car too good. It's almost like imagine it's like it's slipping off, okay? And then there's no grip on it. Whereas in a way, guys, you want the car to go through the air as fast as you can. But if you get it too good, you start to struggle. So there's that little balance. I know that probably sounds weird when I say this, right? And it does, I get it. But they're trying to actually capture more of that air to force that car down to the ground to get a little bit more grip and downforce. And we'll see now at this weekend. I think this weekend is a great weekend to try this new update out. I mean, if they were going to, let's say, Monza. I mean, Monza is just a high-speed track, right? You got very little downforce. You're just going for as much engine speed as you can to a degree. You wouldn't be able to get a pulse on what's going on with the car. So I think this weekend now is definitely going to give them a very, very good idea of where the car is with this new upgrade. So it's going to be very exciting to see that, guys, and watch out for Ferrari this weekend. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens. So, moving on, Mercedes, they've come out with another upgrade as well. Now, we don't have any information on this. Again, look, as we know, it can be very hard. Teams don't want to give away their upgrades. Of course they don't. And that's why, again, that's the other reason why I don't necessarily believe the whole Ferrari one. Why would they have all the technical knowledge? Well, they don't, but it sounds double Dutch, and they've got all these graphs. It doesn't add up to me why Ferrari would be revealing and letting people see the upgrade already. Anyway, that's part of the double Dutch of the article. But Mercedes, they had the upgrade, part of the upgrade at the last round, the last Grand Prix. They had half of it. Now they're bringing the rest of the half. Now, why would they do that? Now, we don't know exactly. Now, maybe it was the fact that they were waiting for some of the parts to get finished. Maybe it was the fact that they were traveling and they didn't have time. In other words, they needed more time at the headquarters, or at the flatbed, get the car sorted. They just needed a little bit more time, but half of the upgrade was just enough. It was just enough to bring it home and try it out, right? Or maybe they went for option 3. They only wanted to try the half upgrade because if that upgrade part doesn't work, then they were very confident the next part wouldn't work. Do you get what I mean? So again, we don't know all the information, but look, hey, there's an upgrade coming from Mercedes this weekend. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, the track, guys. Let's have a look at it. It's a cool track, guys. It really is. And unfortunately, like we said, we didn't see it last year on the calendar. But here we have it on the screen now. And let's see, it's a 309 kilometer race. Lap record 1:15 by Lewis. Circuit length 4.9 kilometers. It'll be a 63 lap race. Now, if we just zoom in here, guys, and we can see, right, turn 7 to me is the most important corner on the track. Turn 7 sets up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sets up 6 corners for me with momentum. Now, if you get out of turn 7 okay, you can carry that speed into 8, 9, 10, 11, downhill, which is very important, and then sweep into right into the 12, and then 13, you're going back up the hill again. So in many ways, I find that when I used to go to a racing track, sometimes you would treat multiple corners like one corner. Because you know that if you do, and let's say in this example here, if you do set up 7, right, you've got everything else set up because they're easy corners, right? Or they should be easy corners, okay? Or they're not a threat to your mechanical grip or your downforce or dynamical grip. So the momentum you can keep the rhythm up then quite easy. So I think personally unlocking 7 will unlock a lot of the other parts of the track, and it's about really transitioning the car as well. Their transition here, in other words, the driver change, right? In other words, changing direction. Sorry, should I say? Getting wrong there. Direction change. Transition is going to be a very, very big one. The car. So in other words, when they're going into, so for instance, corner 2, 3, 4, you got then 5 and 6. And then you've got 12 and 13, and then you've got 14, 15, you've got direction change, one after another, bang, 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 bang. So you got to make sure, if you're going through a right-hander, that left-hander is coming up next, and it's coming up bloody quick. You've got to make sure that car loads up, coming from the left, from the right into the left. You know what I mean? It can't be slow. And it's going to be very exciting, I think, to watch. And this track, I find, is all about where you are on the exit of the corner. Now, many of you may have seen this before where I break down a track, okay? Where sometimes when you go to a track, that it's all about carrying as much speed into the bend and getting to the apex, the middle of the corner, and carrying as much speed in, because then the rest of the corner takes care of itself, let's say. So that's probably a good way to explain it. But for here, it's the other way around. The key is making sure you are loaded up, ready to go, lock and load, so to speak, at the apex, the middle of the bend, and getting on enough power on the exit of the corner. It's all about where you are at the exit. Carry the speed, get the momentum up from that apex, carry it through to the exit of the corner, and you should gain time there. Now, it really is. It's a great track. It really is. It's a fantastic, stunning track. And let's see if we see the weather here now, guys. This should be interesting. So for the weather this weekend, this is what I love about this track, guys, because you never know what's going to happen with the weather. I mean, you know, we're looking at an Italian Grand Prix. You'd never expect rain at an Italian Grand Prix, right? Now, they are saying here, and guys, this is what I love about this Grand Prix. There's been rain here a lot of days over the last few years. A lot of days. And it really bunches the cars up. And even in the wet, when drivers are overtaking and trying to, even in qualifying, when they're trying to push the car to the limit, if you get on top of those big curbs, and they're big curbs, maybe they've changed them this year, but for now, as what we know, they're the big curbs. If they get on those big curbs, it unsettles the car, and if it's in the wet, it's going to make them unstable, easier chance to slide off or hit into someone else in the wet, and it can affect your lap in the dry as well. So we want rain, guys. We're praying for rain. Come on, baby. We're praying for rain here. And they're saying here at the moment, as it stands, the early weekend running is set to take place in dry and pleasant conditions, with further sunshine expected in the build-up to the race, but also a small developing threat of showers as the afternoon wears on. Now, god damn it, that would be awesome, guys, if we had a first part of the race dry and then it turned wet. Oh, I hope that happens. I really do. I hope that happens. That would be so cool. Oh, man. So, okay, let's get into predictions, guys, for this weekend. Well, I think, guys, we're going to go straight into it, as I know I suck ass at this, but I'm going to go Verstappen on pole, Perez off pole, Leclerc third, and Carlos Sainz fourth. So we'll have the Red Bull and Ferrari sandwiches here on the first and second rows. And for the race, I'd actually go the exact same results. I'm hoping I'm wrong on this one. I always am anyway, but I hope I am. I hope I am. And especially if it rains, oh man, that can just throw a spanner in the works, just like it did the last Grand Prix with Norris winning. And, you know, with safety car, of course, different story, but yeah, this could be interesting. Please God it rains. Please God it rains. So, we'll leave it there, fellas and ladies. We will be back, of course, we'll be back on Monday morning with the highlights of the Grand Prix. And, yeah, let's just leave it there for now. And let's just keep our fingers crossed, guys, for rain. Please, please. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.